UFC Fight Night Sacramento, Hernandez versus Rodriguez is this weekend, and I'm going to do a full card prediction for every single fight on the entire card and give my thoughts on them and yeah, who I think is going to win. This isn't actually a bad card at all. They did pretty good for this one. A lot of somewhat interesting fights or people that I'm interested on. Also, I just want to say it before we get to it that there is the Contender Series, and that's been going pretty good. I'm very interested in it. If you think I should do like predictions for that, let me know. I don't really know most of the people on the Contender Series, but I could just post kind of random picks of who I think is going to win. Um, and yeah, we're going to get started with the first fight of the night. Chanel Dyer versus Elise Reed. I'm going with Chanel Dyer to win this fight by finish, first round. Elise Reed is not that good. 8-5 record versus Chanel Dyer. 7-1. More dangerous fighter Chanel Dyer is. She's a decent prospect right now in the women's divisions, and Elise Reed just is not that. So I'm going with Chanel Dyer by first round ground and pound TKO, where she gets Elise Reed down either by hurting her or trip or something, and then ground and pound finishes her. But I think Chanel Dyer should get this one done pretty easily. Obviously, that's what the odds are saying too. Then we move to Wes Schultz versus Jackson McVeigh. I've said it a million times before. I'm going to say it again. I'm not picking Wes Schultz to win an MMA fight. I don't know what it is. I just don't think he's very good. Jackson McVeigh, I used to not want to pick him either, but I am going to go with Jackson McVeigh to win. He's decent. He lost to Bruno Ferreira, I believe that was, yeah, because I saw him fight there. But then he went on to fight Zachary Reese. Did he beat Zachary Reese, or maybe he lost to Zachary Reese? But he looks decent. And I think he can get this fight done via the ground. I think he can submit Wes Schultz. It's funny that they definitely paired these two up against each other because they're both not great, and they both are just white dudes with long hair. So yeah, I'm going with Jackson McVeigh to beat Wes Schultz. I'm just not gonna pick Wes Schultz no matter what. I don't know what it is. I don't feel like I can pick him. I can't see him winning fights, so I have to go with the other guy. So Jackson McVeigh is who I think is going to win. Then we have Gage Young versus Stan Dorsanaville. Dorsanaville, something. This fight, I don't know much about Sanaville. Gage Young, I've seen him fight before. Gage Young isn't bad. He looks decent, but he's not incredible. Um, Stan Dorsaville, I think he's only fought like 5 times. He looks like he has a very good ground game. I don't know much about him either. And so I think he will actually get Gage Young down and submit him. But I think it'll be a third round thing where he's losing the first two pretty dominantly. Where Gage Young is kind of piecing him up a little bit on the feet. But I think Dursonville gets Gage Young down in the third round and submits him. Catching Gage Young slacking a little bit, and yeah, so yeah, Stan Dorsonville is who I'm going with for that fight. Very close odds, but I'm going with Stan. So we move up to Mauricio Barbosa versus Ryan Cuse. Mauricio Barbosa by first round knockout is who I'm going with. Ryan Cuse just doesn't look that good. Mauricio Barbosa looks very dangerous. Decent striker. Great record, 17-2. And yeah, he's a dangerous fighter, much more dangerous than Ryan Cuse. Ryan Cuse debuting. The odds are thinking the same way as I am. I see Mauricio Barbosa going out there and flatlining Ryan Cuse in the first round. And that's what should happen. So not going to spend too long on it, but I think he will get a flatline knockout. Then we move up to Chris Padilla versus Nazaret Haqparast. This one, very close fight. It seems like this card is like pick'em fights and very close odds, and then the next one is like a mega favorite. I'm going with Chris Padilla. He's pretty impressive to me in some of his performances. Nazaret has been pretty good too. Nazaret is got his skills, but Chris Padilla, his last fight being a draw, it is what it is. But I think he is still pretty decent. He's tough. He's not gonna go out that easily. I think he's got decent enough takedown defense, and I think he's going to be able to put hands on Nazareth Haqparast. Nazareth, this is the first fight since the Quill and Sal killed, but he owned a bakery, and now we don't know how he's going to come back from that. If he's going to be a little shaken because he's gotten a lot of publicity from getting slimed out cold with a head kick by Quill and Sal killed. So I see Chris Padilla just being able to capitalize on some of the hesitancy of Nazareth Haqparast, stop the grappling, and kind of be tough enough to deal with him on the feet. And so I think Chris Padilla wins this fight. Close 29-28 decision where Haqparast has good moments, maybe even later on into the fight, but Padilla looks good enough to win the fight. So Chris Padilla via 29-28 decision. Then we move to Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Shamil Gaziev. Man, now my brain says one thing, my heart says the other, and that is that Kennedy Nzechukwu should probably win this in my mind. He's taller, he's faster, stronger, more athletic. Shamil Gaziev, he is none of those things. He is tall, but not taller. And Kennedy Nzechukwu, he got heel hooked by Walter Walker, and then he had a draw in his last fight. But Kennedy is not an awful fighter. He's athletic. He's filled out well for the heavyweight division. Shamil, he's big, but he's blobby. He does never even think about him going into a second round or a third round. It's the third round fears Shamil Gaziev. I see Kennedy Nzechukwu winning this fight. Sadly, I'm gonna root for Shamil. Heavy. I'm gonna be all on Shamil's side. I want him to win this. I never want to see Shamil lose. Coming off of 2 knockout losses, though, to who were they? It was Waldo Cortez Acosta, and there was one other. Oh God, who was it? Let's see, Brando Pericic. Coming off of those 2 knockout losses are not awful. They're not bad. Those are both decent prospects. Kennedy coming off of the loss to Gaziev, then tied with Buchecha. That was a weird, random fight. The Buchecha fight was very off, and I just but do I go with? You know what? I'm switching it up. I'm going with Shamil Gaziev. I can't go against him. I can't. I gotta switch it up. I gotta go with Shamil. I'm updating it on my list right now that I am switching to Shamil Gaziev. Just like the Wes Schultz pick, where I can't pick for Wes Schultz, I should not be picking against Shamil Gaziev. I'm going with him. I don't care. I'm hoping he gets it done. I'm hoping he knocks out Kennedy Nzechukwu in the first round, but I'm not confident in it. So I'm going with Shamil Pookie Bear Gaziev. Then we go to Jamal Emmers versus Larian Douglas. I'm going with Larian Douglas. He is a good prospect. He is very, very tough. He is very strong. He knocked down his last opponent with jabs multiple times. I think he's going to go out there and I think he's going to hunt down Jamal Emmers, and I think he's going to finish him in the first round with a body combination to the cage. And I think he's going to mix it well to the legs and then get up close, body combination up against the cage, knock down Jamal Emmers, and then it'll be a couple. I don't know if Jamal will get back up from it or if he'll get up. Larian Douglas will finish it to the head. I see Larian Douglas just putting on a clinic in the striking against Jamal Emmers. Jamal Emmers isn't a slouch. He can win this. He's tough. He's a veteran. He knows how to fight, how to deal with some of these situations. But Larian Douglas, I think he is the real deal right now, and I am going with him by first round slime out over Jamal Emmers, where he just puts on a clinic. We then move to the main card with Anthony Witt versus Terrence Chapman. Anthony Witt, whoa. I think it switched the pictures around the wrong way. But Anthony Witt was on the Contender Series this past week. I think it was the 11th. Yeah, August the 11th. He was on the Contender Series and he won by knockout. He just steamrolled the guy he was fighting. Signs onto the Sacramento card. So it's cool to see the activity, and I think he's going to win this one too. I think they just found him a random heavyweight opponent to fight against. They gave him another guy to put him on the stage so they could say that he fought this recently. I think he wins by first round knockout. Again, he's going to run over to him, pick him up, throw him down, and knock him out. He's a decent prospect. We'll have to see where he goes, but I think he beats Terrence Chapman pretty handily in the first round, maybe even in the first minute. Then we move to Carly Judice versus Jaisla Chavez. I'm going with Carly Judice. She is much more experienced than the UFC. She is tough. She's gritty. She's willing to go for the finish on the feet. She's game to fight wherever she needs to. I'm also a fan of her because she was one of the first fights I ever saw in person. She might have even been the first fight I saw in person at UFC 318. Um, so I'm a fan of her, and I think Carly Judice will win this fight by TKO in third or second round. I could see it going to a decision because it is a women's fight, but I do see Carly Judice getting the finish here over Jaisla Chavez. Um, Chavez is okay, but just I think Carly Judice wants it more. He's more aggressive, and has learned more, has had more experience winning, losing, and so yeah, Carly Judice I'm going with over Jaisla Chavez. Then we go to Markel Maderos versus Mason Jones. I'm going with Mason Jones. I'm a huge Mason Jones fan. This is another fight I'm excited for. There's a lot of decent names on this card that I'm excited for. I mean, Mason Jones, I'm excited to see him fight. I'm excited to see Carly Judice fight just because I saw her fight in person. Larian Douglas, super excited. Pookie Bergaziev, I'm excited for. Chris Padilla, I'm excited. Mauricio Barbosa. Chanel Dyer is pretty interesting. And then some of the ones further up on the card. But I'm going with Mason Jones because he is not a bad fighter at all. He is very gritty. He's going to go out there. He's going to throw bombs. He's going to try and look to knock you out. I legitimately hope Markel Maderos knocks down Mason Jones in the first round just so then Mason Jones can come back from it because that's what he seems to do. He's been in 2 Fight of the Year contenders back to back with the Axel Sola fight, which was incredible. And then, what was the one before it? Who did he fight before it? Was that the Jeremy Stevens one? Where I don't know if the Jeremy Stevens fight was such a banger, but view fight history. Blagioki, that was a good fight. And then the Jeremy Stevens one, that was also an interesting fight. But I go with Mason Jones to win this fight. He's a very, very fun fighter. Gonna go out there. He doesn't matter if he gets hurt or not. He's been a comeback of the year twice, pretty much. That Axel Sola fight is in the conversation for fight of the year right now. I mean, it's not gonna be, but it's one of them. And yeah, just love Mason Jones. Markel Maderos, not a bad fighter. He's got a decent record. He can win this fight, obviously. He's tough. He's able to mix in a little bit more, but I think Mason Jones just gets this one done on the feet. Regardless if he gets hurt or not, I think he'll adapt. He'll come back and he will put hands on Markel Maderos and finish him in the third round. Via knockout after a very, very fun fight. So yeah, Mason Jones easily my pick for that fight. Then we go up to the feature fight of the evening, Renier de Ridder versus Roman Dolidze. Renier de Ridder and Roman both moving up to light heavyweight. I believe Roman moving back up to light heavyweight, but Renier de Ridder's debut at light heavyweight. And it makes sense that they're both moving up because obviously they're both big guys. They both have a big weight cut. Renier de Ridder obviously suffered last year at the end. Due to his weight cut and cutting it so many times. I think he fought 4 or 5 times last year. And the final one, you could see it wore on him. Brendan Allen ended up beating him, making him quit on the stool. I think Renier de Ridder wins this fight. I think he would have won this fight at middleweight as well. I mean, he beat Robert Whittaker. I think Robert Whittaker still beats Roman Dolidze. I think Renier de Ridder would have possibly been able to beat Fluffy. It would have been a tough fight, but Fluffy ended up walking through Roman. I see Renier de Ridder winning this fight via a decision, a close decision. Renier de Ridder also lost to Caio Barrio earlier this year at middleweight. I see Renier, though, winning this fight with the knees still working in this fight, but also I don't think Roman Dolidze is one of the most plotty, like he's the most heavyweight middleweight we have, really, and now he's at light heavyweight where he moves very slow. He's not very quick. He's not going to overwhelm you too hard. I think Renier de Ritter's legs, his knees, his kicks, those are going to work well for him. And I think the ground game, he's much better than Roman Dolidze. So I see Renier de Ritter getting the either a submission finish on Roman Dolidze or getting the decision win, where it's not the most fun fight. It's very chaotic. It's very um, piano falling from the sky type of fight with Renier de Ritter. And yeah, I go with Renier de Ritter to beat Roman Dolidze, either by submission or a finish or a decision that is 30-27. So Renier de Ritter to win that fight. Then we go up to Sergey Spivak versus Vitor Petrino. This one's a tough one because as far as blobby heavyweights, Sergey Spivak is a tough blob. He is not the most blobbish. He's not a Pookie Bergaziev. He's not a Marcin Tybura. He's not a Mick Parkin. He's not a who else is one that's really blobby? He's no Chris Barnett. But he is a tough dude. He's powerful. He's got the game. He loses to decent level competition with Aspinall and Gane and Cortez Acosta, I believe he lost to. Gelton Almeida, he lost to. Vitor, since moving up to heavyweight from light heavyweight, he's very quick. He's very powerful. He's very fast. He's not as powerful as some of these guys. Spivak also beat Ante D'Elia, which is a big win. D'Elia just didn't throw him enough. I do think, though, that Vitor Petrino's speed and his lighter man skill, I think he will be able to win this fight against Spivak. But I know no matter who I pick, I'm going to get it wrong. Because my gut tells me that Spivak's going to win this fight via knockout. Because Petrino he beat clearly Steven Asplund, but it was not as clearly as you would really think. Like, I think Spivak would beat Asplund a lot harder. But then Asplund mentioned that he wasn't taking it as seriously as he needed to, so I go with Vitor Petrino. I think he's going to be quick enough. I think he's going to win a close decision, 29-28, where it is going to be controversial, where I think Petrino gets knocked down in a round, and that Spivak wins that, but then I think he barely edges out the other round. So I think Vitor Petrino by first and second round, winning it, and then the third round going to Sergey Spivak, where Vitor survives it, kind of stays on his bike a little bit, and I think he wins it with his speed, with his power, and with his lighter man skill. So yeah, Vitor Petrino getting the win, even though I really should lean towards Sergey Spivak. This is a big chance for Petrino to get into the top 6 of the heavyweight division and insert himself into those future conversations for number one contenders fights or fights before a number one contender. So yeah, Vitor Petrino, I think he beats Sergey Spivak in a very close, controversial decision. Then we move to the main event of the evening, Fluffy Hernandez versus RoboCop. This is a very interesting but somewhat clear fight to me. I think that this should be all RoboCop's traffic the entire fight. That's what it should be. Fluffy, though, could definitely win. Fluffy's been training with Sean Strickland, kind of learning where he went wrong in their fight. Fluffy's wrestling, it works when he can overwhelm you with his cardio and overwhelm you with his pace. But RoboCop hits like a truck, man. I mean, he knocks out Bruno Fajea, bad. He knocked out Hermanson, bad. He's been going on this kind of tear. He lost to Jared Cannonier, but I think he's learned from that since. He is coming back in Fluffy. We know the weakness now. It's to the body. I think RoboCop's going to target that, and I think he's going to be able to target it pretty hard. And also, RoboCop has jiu-jitsu. He has jiu-jitsu. He is not a one-dimensional, powerful stand-bang striker. He has jiu-jitsu. He has a ground game. So if Fluffy gets him down, I think RoboCop's going to have decent maneuverability on the ground. I think if Fluffy tries to go for just holding him up against the cage or trying to ragdoll him, I think RoboCop will be able to be comfortable on his back. And I see a knee up the middle into the gut or a slamming body kick into the gut of Fluffy Hernandez and that curling him over worse than it did against Strickland. I see RoboCop as a very, very powerful guy, and I don't know if Fluffy could really fix that hole in his game, which is the weakness to the body. He's been weak to the body before against Kevin Holland, and now against Strickland and other fights. He's kind of suffered to the body a little bit. RoboCop is a power puncher. I mean, he hits with nukes, and I think he's going to target that body. And if Fluffy's too worried about the body, you can't let him go to your chin, because regardless of how tough you are, regardless of how good your chin is, RoboCop getting multiple shots unprotected against your chin, you're going to be gone. And I think RoboCop gets this one done via a second round or early third round knockout. But the longer this fight goes on, the better it is for Hernandez, because Hernandez can drown you with his pace, with his wrestling, with trying to just shoot in on you over and over again, kind of like a middleweight Marab. And RoboCop has been known to have gas tank issues, but I think he's been working on those. I think he's learned from the Cannonier fight to not go all out too hard, and I think he's going to play this one smart. Remember that he can go to the ground if he needs to, and I don't think he will be outdone completely on the ground, and I think his power and his striking is a lot harder. I don't see Hernandez being able to really hurt RoboCop for the first 2-3 rounds, because Hernandez just doesn't have that power, and RoboCop, yeah, he's a little chinny, but he's been chinny against tough dudes. So I'm going with RoboCop via knockout, with a body shot, with a body kick. Um, from just them switching stances and RoboCop slamming a body kick in there, and then that TKOing Anthony Hernandez, and yeah, RoboCop moves up higher into the division, and then I think they set up a RoboCop versus Pfeiffer fight. Um, and yeah, RoboCop is my pick to win the main event. Um, Very tough though, going 5 rounds. If this goes to fourth or fifth, I think this is all Hernandez. So Hernandez could win this fight. I think him winning this fight is either by late rounds TKO, maybe late rounds submission, or most likely a decision. But I think RoboCop wins this fight in the first 3 rounds, probably within the first two, just by going to the body. Um, Hopefully he's been learning how to keep his gas tank under control, and yeah, RoboCop is my pick to win it. The fact that the odds are in favor of Hernandez is kind of wild, but hey, we'll have to see this weekend. UFC Hernandez versus Rodriguez. Very excited for this fight night card. This is a pretty good one. And yeah, that is it for the entire card. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you think I should do Dana White Contender Series predictions, where maybe I won't do this full video, but on TikTok, maybe I'll do a quick TikTok of just saying, hey, I think this person, this person, this person, this person is going to win. Make sure you watch the Contender Series. They've been pretty good. They're always pretty good. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, and